Come and get started on a new mission, a new direction, a new intention. Welcome to 5.8G Alive at Connections 50 Plus. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, catering to all your prospects in the third act of life.
Economic well-being, social gratification, personal fulfillment.
Join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Connections 50 Plus Facebook page, YouTube channel,
and on Gael the Caribbean. Hi, tribe. Did you ever think of doing your autobiography? It's not as complicated as you think. So join 5.8G as we, together with Dr. Lynette Tyson Noel, certified guided autobiographer, as we journey into the world of writing our stories. Scribe with the Tribe is a 3-part series that lets us write our stories, and there are so many reasons to do this. Jennifer, what do you think?
It's a great idea, and I'm all excited to do my autobiography. That's because, it's a way for me to document my life story and leave a legacy for my loved ones. It will also help, those who see me as a mentor to learn more about me and to get some golden nuggets. I see it too as a way to motivate our 5.8G tribe to celebrate their greatness, to start to document their life story and really have that legacy for their loved ones.
Great. And I also think that our cohort, we have done so much with such great impact, like no other generation has before. Time has flown so fast that we've hardly had any time to look back, to admire, or even to understand all that we have achieved for ourselves and our loved ones. I call that our greatness. So I am taking the opportunity through this series to tell my greatness story. It will be a wonderful gift to myself, the opportunity to document my life's journey in my own words, and then I choose to share it with whom I choose. I think that's a great thing. So, Jennifer, tell us more about the series.
Okay, our 3-part series will be held on Tuesday the 8th and Tuesday the 15th of October. And our final session will be on Monday the 21st of October. Now it's from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. on Zoom platform. So register now. Call me, Jennifer, at 685-8834. And of course, Terry-Ann also at
682-9202. And check out all of our social media platforms and our 5.8 GLI show. So we look forward to seeing you. Call us.
Yes, Scribe with the Tribe.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 5.8G Alive, brought to you by Connection 50 Plus. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite, one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus. With me always.
Hi, good evening, everyone. And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, the other co-creator of Connections 50 Plus. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yes, Jennifer, October has started. The last quarter of the year has started. We just have 3 months before 2023 ends. What is going on with Father Time?
It's really something else. Time flies really quickly. And that's why we always have to, have a plan. Because if we don't have that plan, Terry, and things will just go haywire. Right?
And some people's plan is that. Some people have a plan to go haywire. But how was your last week? What interesting things happened?
Say quiet, winding down after our hectic road trip. I didn't do much. I didn't do much. But I always enjoy every day. I try
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
no matter what. I look forward just having life and being active,
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but nothing in particular, nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah. I had a busy week, but a strange week, and I think it flows well into what we're going to discuss today. I really did the final closing off of an important part of what I call transferring our family's legacy. So it was a very, very, very hectic week, and lots of lessons learned in terms of closing off matters related to the family home. So it was tiring, it was hectic, but yet it was very energizing and energetic. And I got some reflections on how I need to manage my life now. We 50 plus people, 60 plus people, look around you. Make sure what you have around you is what you need. Otherwise, start to get rid of them.
We could become hoarders.
Yeah.
If we're not already hoarders.
Well, I think for some it might be an unfair, let's not use the word hoarders, because as you go along in life, you accumulate. Different stages of your life require different things. And if you acquire items that are durable and last, you don't just let them go because you've got to improve. Or when children come, you might have to add on dining set, wares, pots, pans, and then as they change, new appliances come in and stuff like that. And all of a sudden your home gets, and then if we are fortunate enough to have to start with a house that has space and it's easy to fit things in to fill the available space, we could end up in a little bit
Well,
of
it's because I think differently and I don't like clutter. As I bring in, I tend to move out things.
yeah.
But, it's a matter of what you consider important enough to keep. And I understand they have certain, emotional attachment to things,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it varies.
Yeah. So I have a joke. My father had a box with about, I swear to God, it's about nearly 100 plaques. Plaques and award frames, because he was a sales executive like yourself with Guardian Life, and he was very good. So he had lots and lots of agents of the month, agents of the quarter, agents of the year in his branch, and then he had awards, and every single time they had an award, they gave him a plaque, and all these plaques ended up in this big box. And I'm looking at this box of plaques, framed plaques, that kind of hard plastic kind of plaque trophies. I'm looking at all of them and saying, but this needs to be thrown away. And he's telling me, but those are my achievements. And I'm saying, choose one.
It's very difficult to let
So,
go because it meant so much to you. It's part of that era, that time of your life.
yeah.
But and they
He did a smart thing. He told me to decide. That's the best decision he ever made. But easy to
because
decide.
you didn't have the attachment, so it's easy for you to let them go. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, Jennifer, last Sunday, the 1st of October was an important day. It was the UN celebrating our people, International Day of Older Persons. Some of us have a problem with saying that we're older, but yes, we're older than everybody who's under 50. So we are older. They didn't say old persons. And
older persons.
Yeah, and I think we can get into our discussion of our tribe by looking more at this and having a discussion. So let's flip over to our tribe once more, and let's talk about this UN Day of the older person.
Yes, Ariane. So, as you said, Sunday, UN celebrated, International Day of Older Persons. and their theme was resilience. And resilience of older persons in the changing world. And I thought, I mean, resilience, when you look at resilience, a lot of the aspects of it, and there are different, pillars. And researching, I just thought to look up this. I mean, we know what resilience is, but in the context of celebrating International Day for Older Persons, I felt it would be nice, Terry-Ann, if we chat about the pillars, because when you look at it, it's what actually we are all about. It's really in line with Connections 50 Plus and what we
Yeah.
do. Looking at the different pillars, you realize that it hits home. It hits home. And I really like to chat about things that makes a difference in our lives as we grow older. So with that said, let's start by looking at the pillars. And one of the pillars, if I may start, they talk about self-awareness. And that is what we say. When in many workshops starts with asking the participants to say, who am I? In terms of, do you know really who you are? And I must admit, over the years, we do change. We do change. They spoke about resilience in a changing world. But we at this stage, in the 50 plus stage, me at 70, man, I have changed. I am very well aware of my changes. Actually, I was speaking with someone recently dealing with a situation, and I am saying, in my, we like to say in my days, I say in my days, I wouldn't shut up, in my days, I felt I must give my opinion. I must say this because I have to prove, one, I'm stupid, I'm an intelligent person, and etc., etc. And I have recognized over the years, no, listen, understand what the other person has to say. And when you do respond, don't respond in that assertive or aggressive way to create chaos or to create confusion, right? So for me, self-awareness also means we have to be aware of our personalities. So if your personality is one where you may be a bit on the loud side or more assertive, etc., you should understand that and know how to manage your responses or manage your life. And I find too, let me talk about me as I get older, I really don't have the energy to get into argument. It's not worth it. Your years of experience tell you, hey, you have to say simmer down. Just simmer down a bit. You don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to keep fighting it. You should be able to control yourself because you say your go-to, my go-to is to respond in a certain way. So I have to change that and say, okay, change my language, change how I react, because what do I want at this stage? I really want a nice, peaceful life. I don't want to start gaining more enemies or have that animosity going. So being self-aware help you if you want to be resilient. So that's my take on the self-awareness. That's my example how I deal with that, being more self-aware. And check myself all the time. I will check myself and say, but you didn't have to answer, or you didn't have to do that. You could have done it better. And I am open to, I wouldn't say criticism, but I am open. I listen to the other person's opinion and I'm willing to be wrong. So that's what I would say in terms of that factor of being self-aware.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think for me, if I look at resilience and any of the pillars, I always go back to roots and try to understand what exactly are we talking about when we say resilience, because people can have a different definition of resilience. And when your definition of resilience is different, then how you approach each of the aspects is going to be different. And
Yeah.
you think resilience, you think about something stretching a rubber band. You think it's resilient, it can handle, and I think even if we look at the definition of resilience, it's about getting back to your normal state when you go through some kind of thing. So why are you resilient? It means that I don't think it's your normal state, but it means that if something happens, you can get back to your normal state. And if we look at the definition of resilience, it speaks to that, the ability to go through crisis and come back after crisis to a normal state. And many people are harmed, broken, and changed by crises or a disruption in life, and it can make you forget what you were before. So I think, as you said, that first pillar of resilience is self-awareness, because if you don't know what you normally are, then if you go through some kind of crisis or some kind of emergency that you have to alter what your normal state is, you can stay in whatever you had to change to during the crisis if you don't know what you have to come back to. So if you are not self-aware, and when I think of self-awareness, I think of who is the person that I am? What do I believe? What do I find to be true? What brings me happiness? What do I not like to be involved in? Because as they say, sometimes a crisis could put you in a good bacchanal and confusion with other people, because you might have to stand for, but when it is done, you have to find a way back to that peaceful self. Or sometimes you might have to question your God, but you have to know how to come back. So I think self-awareness is something that we must seek and we must understand. And Jennifer, I think you will agree too that even as we've worked with people and we've gone through some of our coaching programs like the Reset program and all those things, many people really don't think of who am I, and many people live their lives reacting to what they think the world expects of them and what people tell them they should do and what they believe they should be in their role. So when crisis hits and they have to alter, the resilience may be a bit weak because they're not self-aware enough to know what to come back to. Yeah. I think that may be an issue and something that we need to look at. What do you think?
Yeah, and I agree when you started by saying, how do you interpret resilience? Because it may vary. But yes, resilience is like, like what you said, you have a rubber band, but you're coming back to yourself. No matter what, you're coming back to you because you are the decision maker. You deciding what road you should take. So yeah, that self-awareness is important. Now, these factors, what we are saying, the pillars, they're not in any particular order.
No.
And it varies, and it's just taken. I mean, it's simple in terms of looking at what resilience is and the pillars, but it can go in so many different directions, And the second one we can look at is what we do all the time, Terry-Ann, and that is one of our buckets, which is self-care, right? Because without that self-care, and basically what we do, self-care is taking care of yourself, right? And you have the different aspects of taking care of yourself. And again, it will vary because to me, in order to make that decision, in order to to be resilient, in order to live the kind of life I would like to live, I have to look at me. I want to be active, and to be active, I need to look at how am I taking care of my health.
Mm.
So when I really do a life plan all the time. And in my life plan, self-care is really at the top, right?
Mm.
And that is because I know if I don't, and I have what do I do in terms under that heading self-care.
Yeah.
And one of the main aspects is to be active and look at not just my diet, but look at exercise. And exercise to me doesn't mean going to the gym and doing any strenuous type exercise, because again, we aging. So in the early days I could run up Chancellor and run back down. Now I might be able to make the top of Chancellor. But I'm aware that I have to be active and look for the activities that I'm comfortable with and still keep me healthy. I'm aware I'm hypertensive, so I have to do the things that could maintain my normal pressure, and be aware, we're going back to the awareness, be aware of what will trigger off, cause the pressure to go up, etc. So, and self-care means so many different things. We can go into all different directions. But for me, I know the different aspects of my life that I should daily is be conscious of and daily pay attention to. Because with self-care, I add in what triggers stress, and what I need to do to release that stress. Remember, Terry, and we spoke about knowing in terms of awareness, knowing the type of personality, etc. So if for me, I'm aware that being anxious in situations would increase my pressure and have me, down, I have to manage that. So in self-care for me, when I think of self-care, I think of us looking at the things we have to do to keep us in that state of health or state of mind that we can enjoy the quality life we want to enjoy. Let me just sum it up like that.
Yeah. There's so much, and you're very right, Jennifer, because we inundated through social media with all kinds of advice on how to do this, how to do that, how to solve this, how to solve that, how to do this, how to do that. And, let's go back. If you're not self-aware, you're back to letting other people tell you what to do. So this gym is the best gym. This diet is the best diet. This way to meditate or pray or deal with your spiritual being is the best way. And you're taking in other people's recommendations, even though while you're in the midst of it, you yourself, your body telling you, I don't like this. Would you please stop? How many of us pay for programs, go in the gym, the instructor shouting, jump, skip, run, hop, do 10 more crunches, and you're hating the person because you don't like this. Your body is telling you on a conscious level, you're hurting me.
Yeah.
And I think, last week I mentioned the blue zones about longevity and the fundamentals of care. It's look at what are you eating? What is good for you? Take a look at what you are eating. Take care of your body, what you're putting into your mouth and causing yourself to be nourished. How are you treating your body? Sleeping, are you resting enough? Some of us, a lot of the stress is just because we're going on 4 hours and 3 hours sleep and we think that is fine.
Yeah.
And then when we get to the doctor, how much years later, we've all kind of things happen to us. But I was good, but we don't know how critical sleep is in terms of the body repairing itself and getting, and if you do not sleep properly, no exercise in the world can help you, no meditation, no set of retreats or anything can help you, because your body, this corpus that you have, is not in a position to do what you asking it to do. And then we think it's your legs are so critical to carrying you, and if you move your legs regularly, you get all your health systems, your circulatory systems, your lymphatic system with all your hormones, your nervous system, all of them will get exercise and work. So natural movement of your arms and your legs would carry you a long way, and natural movement doesn't necessarily involve jumping up and down in the gym. So, you know, you're so right. Self-care really, really comes down to those three pillars. And I would just add, again, something that we think about. You don't live in a bubble. You live with people. So what are your relationships with people like? Do you have a community that you can join in and share life with? And that in itself will take you to really important mental and emotional balance. So we really, really need to, you come again, the self-awareness and the self-care. And we have the experience to think through, what do I need? What makes me happy? And to know whether we're responding to something external, imposing it on ourselves, or whether we're listening to ourselves, Sometimes I feel so out of sorts. Go and sleep. Just go and sleep.
And do you know, Tarian, if I get up in the morning and even if I had plans to go somewhere and I am not feeling it, I don't go.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, before I reach this stage in life, don't care if I plan to go somewhere, even if I get up not feeling too good, I am still going.
And
I
that
will
puts
push
stress
myself
on your body. That stresses your body. Yeah.
And I think that comes from, when you're in the workplace, you're working, you get up, you may not be feeling good, but unless you're very critically ill, you're still getting up and go. All right? Because you may have exhausted your sick leave, or you figure it has certain things so important on your desk that you must complete, etc. So you build that habit with the stress on your body, pushing. And we must be aware now, at this stage in life, it is not good for our health to continue that habit. We have to look to see how we can balance our time, to do that. Yeah.
And Jennifer, something that we are not good at this stage in terms of self-care is that emotional well-being. We are not admitting when critical relationships are not good. And we are afraid to go and fix it. We use the word confront, which is a negative word, and you shy away from it. We don't know how to make peace with demons that we live with. And I don't mean people are devils. You have bad relationships with children, with spouses, with neighbors, with in-laws, with friends, and it's there grinding and inside of you, and you have to contort your social life to avoid this one or don't talk to that one, and that emotional, how do we manage our emotion? We angry about things and we not just deal with it. Say, I don't like this. I'm 60 years old, I don't like this, I'm not doing it. That emotional, we could eat and we could exercise and we could do the other things, but how we handling our emotions is turning into cancer, it's turning into stroke, it's turning into diabetes, turning into all kinds of things, and it's an important part of self-care.
Yeah, because actually that leads Terry-Ann, to the other, but the third pillar, as I said, it's not in order. We just, chatting on it. It's positive relationships. And you said it. That relationship, as you know, I tend to go to how we speak in terms of it eats away inside. You're growing up and you say you should release that, because if you don't release it, it eats away inside. And I interpret that saying more, and you talk about it manifests in the way it could be cancer, it could be being hypertensive in different ways, causing ill health. And it is a fact. And there's so many different aspects of the negative relationships. That's why they say positive relationship, what we have to look at. But I wonder to Terry-Ann, and in speaking with people, because we chat all the time about self-care and relationships, etc., especially on this stage as we grow older. Listen to me. We do carry a lot of baggage, We carry a lot of baggage. And it's when we down and out, and you sit back and say, there are real situations, and I'm sure each one of you are listening to us could relate to a personal situation in your lives, that eating away your inside in terms of your emotions, right? Emotions. And it could be simple. You grow up in a household, or you may have, you refer, it could be a children, could be spouse, could be a sibling, whoever. And for some reason, the relationship has never been the best, because many reasons. Sometimes we don't like to admit it's jealousy. We may not like to admit it's because we want control, or we want to be seen or heard, look like the more intelligent one, the nicer one, all the different reasons. And we carry that with us right through life. And when we chat with clients and they say they're grieving because of certain situations, and you hear about all the regrets, I should have this, and I should have, and I should have, and I should have. And at this stage, Terry-Ann, even if we carried it on to the third act stage, I would suggest, and I'm talking because I'm actually actively doing it too, is that see the things, that the emotions that we could release or come to terms with. And communication, you mentioned that, in chatting just now. Communication is key, Terry-Ann, because there's so much misunderstanding in relationships, right?
Mhm.
I read recently was a situation, was a marital situation, and I'm not judging, I'm not a marital counselor or coach or anything. I'm dealing with communication and relationship. And they were just referring to how men handle situation as against the woman. And it was a light reference being made. And it's because the wife was complaining that, her husband don't tell her how good she looking, how good the food tastes, and complimenting her on things, or show appreciation for what she think that all the hard work she was doing. And she, openly chatting on that. And on his side, he appreciate all what is being done, but his thing is he don't need to say it. He didn't see the need to say it. And she said she had to ask him, you like the food, or you like, keep asking him. And his thing is, he fed up of her asking him thing. So that sort of lack of communication, and I'm referring here to that situation, but you could take it to in any other situation where you have that misunderstanding. And I believe at this
Mhm.
stage, we should examine ourselves
Hmm.
and start to admit you have plenty examples. So look at the examples where it did end up right, or you are uncomfortable with the results. And if we really examine that, we would say, you know what? And other aspect, Terian, that goes with it, with the communication is, and maybe is our culture, in my opinion, we tend not to apologize, or when we do apologize, it doesn't come across authentic for some reason, because you're apologizing in a way, still want the person feel like, I'm apologizing, but I'm still right, you wrong. So I think we should look at how we say sorry, and really check ourselves in terms of how we're moving on, because I have seen it, I'm experiencing it, is that when we get very ill or we feel we're close to death, it worries us that, oh, maybe I didn't treat this one right, maybe I didn't say this, or I should have, etc., etc. And as we grow older, I think we want to release all the excess baggage, emotional, especially emotional baggage that we have. So that's how I look at
Yeah.
positive relationships.
When we so much about relationships, Jennifer, and very early in our programs, before we got fancy on Zoom, when we just started, we had a show where we had Garth Thomas as a guest.
Yes.
And I think we also had Median Mahon as a guest. And we were talking about the relationships. In this case, it was man-woman. And we were talking about our boxes and our checklist.
Yes.
We
yes.
asked a question. You have your long list? Nice. What do you bring to the table? And so many of our relationships, even when we talk about what's going on with the relationship, is what I find you should be doing, or what
Yes.
I vex you not doing. In the case of, I'll use the example that you gave. A woman is sitting down grumbling because the man is not saying that he likes the food or whatever. Just ask him, how did you like the dinner? Instead of sitting down and grinding that you're not saying it. If you want it said and it is not being said, the poor man is clueless that she needs it to be said. He probably saying, well, I'm eating the plate clean and I'm finishing the food, and every day I come and eat your food.
It's obvious. And I'm not leaving back any food.
I'm not leaving back. And there are the 5 love languages: words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, physical touch. If by my actions I show you I love you or I care about you, and this does not refer only to intimate relationships, it could be friends, then I don't need to tell you, read me. But if you need words and you don't follow actions, then tell me so that I will know how to love you. And, I come to the word love, and I come back to what is love, and so it has to come back to heart and spirit. And in the spirit, love is wishing good for the other. And if I approach my relationships wishing good for you, then I love you. And if I wish well for you and I prepared a lovely meal and I ask you if you like it, and I really wish well for you, it will not be from a selfish place where I want to know if you find my food nice, but it will be, are you enjoying the meal I prepared for you? And if you say yes, then I'm happy. So when we look at how our relationships are, there's a branch of psychology that says most relationships are a mirror, and what you react to in a relationship, whether it is positive or negative, is 99.999% your reaction to something you see about yourself.
Terry, and I want to
You know?
just take something here.
Mhm.
When you refer about the food and you ask very nicely if you enjoy it, we always would expect the person to say, yes, darling, it was really nice. If they only say that I like it, but the peas or the meat or
You need some
something
salt.
could
You need
have
some salt.
been, mm, wow, we're not listening to all the great things about
We
the
take it
rest of the food.
personally.
We would jump on that aspect and undo all the good. And I
Yeah.
think we have to also be aware what happens if the response, and we say it could be in any other
Mhm.
situation, that look at it as maybe, okay, I can do it this way to please that person, you know,
And they're giving you
because they're
feedback.
telling you
Take it as
what they
feedback.
like,
Take it
right?
as
But
feedback.
you want them
Yes.
to like it the exact way you prepare it. And so when you were speaking, I'd say, hey, let us look at the other side too,
Yeah.
because our expectations sometimes cause us to
Yeah.
react in a negative way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times, or think of when you have a positive reaction. Someone that in their relationship does, they're feeling nice, they're feeling good. They are meeting a need that you have. So they're reflecting back at you what you want, and you're happy. And sometimes you don't say when you're complimented on stuff, you don't say thanks, you're rude. You say, well, I'm nice, so, but whatever it
Yeah.
is. But in the same way, when something is happening that is triggering a negative feeling in you, ask yourself, what am I not getting that I want? And use that as a way to start talking to the person to see, because, I started, I mean, I've been through stressful times with the family for the last year, and the whole family has been under stress. And to avoid war and bacchanal, sometimes I've just had to sit back when things are said or things happen, and I ask myself, what is it that I'm getting from this person that is getting me so angry? And most
Yeah.
of the time, it is a need that I have. And I've taught myself to either ask the person straight to present it in a different way, or to help them to understand what I need. And I don't think that makes me needy. In many ways, it has helped the other person to understand me better, and it has ended in apologies, and it has ended in conversations that made the whole thing better. So when we talk positive relations, we really have to be careful that we're not expecting the other person to give us what we want without saying anything. And as you said, Jennifer, assuming that how we present our love, and love means wishing good for the
Yeah.
other,
Mm-hmm.
how I present that to you, Jennifer, is the way you want it. And I have to let it be the first act. I get some feedback, and then next time I do it a little better, and it gets better. And then you do something for me, I give you feedback. The feedback is, oh, how nice, thank you so much. The feedback wouldn't first be, this food needs salt. Even if it is,
And
I just say, I'm more developed than you, let me help you along. But positive
and
relations, feedback into self-care and self-awareness and stress.
and when we talk about the older persons, as an older person myself, we tend to believe we're too old to change, or
And we
we
dead.
have a right. We have a right. We reach this age, so we have a right to say what we want and how we want to say it. And whoever they should understand this is where we are. That is something we need to also examine, using age as the excuse for not allowing other persons to have their say, or admitting that we could also be wrong. We could have many years of experience, but it don't have to be positive experiences. So yeah,
And Jennifer,
we need to be
that
aware of it.
behavior, that kind of behavior, and let's admit it, you sit down and wait till you're old and you're stiff and hard in your way, according to the Bible, stiff-necked people. You're inflexible. And now you wreaking out justice on all those who you couldn't, you're doing for you what I couldn't do before. And all
I
that
agree.
happening is you're alienating children, you're alienating grandchildren, you're alienating colleagues. And when everybody's alienated, what happens to you? You sit by yourself alone somewhere with your righteousness and no good relationships around you. It's all reflecting regret. It was done to me. Now it's my turn to do it to you. And you just end up a
Terry-Ann, that
mean
is such a
old
popular
person.
saying. That is such a popular
So,
saying. When you talk to somebody who
it's
in, in a
2023.
situation, and
Nearly
they will say,
2024.
that's good
Come
for them.
on.
That's good for them. They used to do me so and so, or they did somebody else that. They deserve it.
That
And
is
you
such a
just cut.
all-time bad approach to life. We're coming into 2024. Stop it. No positive relations.
You know, we have a lot to look, and I really like the topic of resilience, which is in the midst of all the adversity and all that, you must look for a way to bounce back and bounce back in the positive way.
And positive relations help you to bounce back, because if you don't have them, when you're in stress, you're going to sit down by your friend and they help you to reinforce. It's so important. You go and eat some nice food, you listen to some nice music, you pray, you do something, take care of yourself, you bounce back.
How we bounce back. Yeah, look for that way, that positive way to bounce back.
Yeah.
One of the other factors, and you're just talking about the fourth factor that is about, you know, your purpose or your attitude, and which just leads from what you just said, Terry-Ann. What is your purpose? What you really want to achieve at the end of it all? And when you talk to there's the older persons, when you talk to us, the 5.8G tribe, and you ask what you really want out of life, and they come back with the same thing. You want a peace, you want happiness, you want to go out and enjoy life with friends, you want to have your family around. If that is your purpose, really, Terry-Ann, we need to examine our attitude, which follows all the other factors that we just spoke about. They intertwine, you know? And attitude is and we mentioned it just now, actually, with the attitude. You know, they did me that. You know what trouble I went through as a child, what it didn't do to me, all these things, you always go back, always back in time. But we tend not to go back in time, reflecting on all the positives, all the time we enjoy life, the great friendships and all that. For some reason, I don't know if just old age, when we go back, it's always the negative. Who did us this? What we could have achieved and we didn't achieve? Who put pressure on us? The children, when we thought they would have done so, is because the children didn't do that. All are just a slew of negative things that come to us, right? But if we focus on our purpose and how we really want to live life, we have to forget all those the negative, you know, all the things that cause us pain, and focus on the things that made us really happy, so we can focus on those things that will make us happy. And you know, we speak about this over and over, Terry-Ann, but it's great to repeat it, especially under different teams. It just shows that it can vary.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, what's your purpose? What quality of life would you like to live? And if we could not blame others for where we are today, and see what we can do. And let me just throw in this. You know, the budget was just read, right? And in all my years, I haven't recalled after a budget where people say, oh, this is great and they're happy and life will go on great, right? So I've never heard that. So you continue hearing all the negatives, And sometimes I wonder when I hear some people talk and I said, where's the solution? The solution is very sometimes, and I'm just referring to, it's so much negative in the air that even if solutions are being suggested, it's being lost with, with, with you being bombarded by so much negatives. And, I was just listening to a program this morning where you were getting all the negative. And then I just laughed, right? And I said, at this stage in life, you see that? I'm not taking that on. My stage in life, my purpose, no matter what's happening, I need to find a way for me to enjoy life in spite of. Of course, the awareness, we said about awareness. So, yes, primarily things. What can I do to see if I can make my life different? And as I said that, you would ask what I did this week within my compound. There was someone chatting about security and things. Very, very a great presentation because it focused more on self. What can you do? What can you do within your household? Not about the government and this and that, but you within your situation, within your compound, within when you go into the outer space, what can you do to help yourself feel better or to say that I can still go out as against locking up in a home, So that's what I mean. We need to, and I told so this morning when I was listening to all the negatives, I say, you're only catching me in this. At my age, I have been through all that already. At this time, I'm not stressing out more. Let me think of ways that I can live comfortably the way I want to in spite of. So that's my purpose.
By definition of what you said, you have made a statement that you are a resilient person. It means that no matter what is going on in your environment, you can bounce back. Unfortunately, I think most of us, as we've been saying before, have been formed by the environment. We don't know how to go inside and be what we want to be. And because we have, for the past generation, been brought up in a very toxic, negative environment that is racist, that is classist, that is, I am better than you, that is competitive, we have been taught that our value, our purpose, our reason for being is defined by another thing or another person. Yeah. And very, very few of us are self-defined so that no matter what is going on in the environment, I can come back to center and bounce back, therefore be resilient. And I think the whole issue of purpose, because if I ask you, what is the purpose of this? Is a pencil, it is to write. What's the purpose of a garbage bag? It's to hold garbage. And if I know the purpose of a thing, then a garbage bag is to hold garbage. And I think that's a bad example, but I'm going to use it. If I know it is made of plastic and it can rip, am I going to put heavy pieces of broken glass in it? It will tear and it will burst. So if I know my purpose, if I know who I am and what I am and what am I here to do? I'm here to be a mother to my children. I'm here to be a partner to my spouse, a friend to my friend. I'm here to witness to my God. I am here to, what are you here to do? If you know that, and you know yourself, then you will not react to every single thing going on in your environment. And as they stretch you so, you stay so. Then they stretch you so, you stay so. Then they pull you down, you stay down. They put you up, you stay down. Then they throw you off the ledge and you fall off the ledge and you collapse. You are totally not resilient. So if you know your purpose, take up anything around you. Look around you now and pick up any inanimate object. That plant in the corner, what is it doing there? It's beautifying the room. It's a plant that freshens the air. It's helping the air stay oxygenated. I know what it's there for. If I start to put something in the room, doesn't change the plant. And very often we say, what is our purpose? And we can't answer, or we answer it in the context of somebody else.
Yes.
And that, I think, really starts to break down our ability to be resilient. So, so the budget is red. Is anything in the budget affecting you? No, nothing, nada, nothing is affecting you. The change in minimum wage, your pensioner, you're not being affected. The price of gas has not changed.
And
So,
that's your awareness. What stage are we at?
so
This is the stage we are.
what people have to be self-aware about is the reaction, whether it is positive or negative. You're reacting to something else. You're reacting to something else. And if you're self-aware and you know you have an agenda, good, have a good time reacting. Have a good time reacting. But again, when we ask ourselves, what is our purpose? What are we here for? And it isn't necessarily a long-term thing. It's simply, where's my purpose for today? It is so important to being able to be resilient. And I hope that as we are talking through this discussion, our listeners are checking on themselves and measuring up, and not measuring up for no prize or no game or no trophy or anything, but just to have an awareness of how resilient are you, because as you get older, you have less pliability to bounce back. And the world has shocks to pull you. And if you don't find a way to get back to your original shape, and if the original shape you don't like it, then work on changing the shape. So purpose is so critical.
Tarian, so the fifth factor that we're going to chat about is mindfulness, which is that word mindfulness, you hear it a lot now. But I want to start by saying this. Again, I speak very openly. I know I'm not perfect, and I'm working on all the areas that I believe would be my weak areas. And I am very much about friendship, creating a tribe, connecting to people, etc. But every now and again, I might get a comment that, Jennifer, check yourself and see if you're not living in a bubble. Meaning that because I choose to focus on positives, and in spite of the negatives coming at me, and we know we have challenges, we all have, but choose to look at, again, focusing on my purpose and how I handle it. And it's not just a remark to me. You will hear that statement being said many times about, oh, that person living in a bubble, indicating that they're not, the way they are acting or going about their business, it seems that they're not aware of all that, what is happening around them, which is not true. And for me, when I hear about mindfulness, we go back to all the things, all the other factors that we mentioned.
Yeah.
Being aware. Mindfulness is being aware, and Terry, and you mentioned just so it don't have to be, your purpose could be now, today, you get up, this is my purpose for the day. Mindfulness, for me, is being aware of your surrounding today. This is where you are. This is what's happening to you right now. Because it changes. Situation changes all the time, So when you are mindful, you are aware of what is happening around you. And when you have that awareness, you can decide what you're going to do about it. Whether you're going to turn to your Lord, because that is normally our full stop. Well, that's my full stop for the guidance. I pray. I ask, hey, this is the situation. I put the situation out there. I need guidance as to how best to handle it. Whether it causing me pain, stress, whatever. And let me tell you on the other hand, if my situation and I'm away and I'm really happy and things happening, I give praise for that too. I allow it to, you say manifest what you want and you achieve it, you give praise. So the positive energy, you keep inviting that positive energy that I talk about all the time and find ways to remove it. So mindfulness to me is being aware of your situation at the time and making that choice of how you want to deal with it. If you want to go down the negative road, or if you want to see how you could go back to your center, as you said, find your center and use that strength that you have in you to deal with it. So that for me is not being very heavy on mindfulness. That's just basically how I would refer to mindfulness.
I think you're very right. And sometimes I think one of the most important things we have to understand for resilience and all the other issues, and it comes straight down to mindfulness, is that my resilience is not your resilience.
Yep.
And so many times you meet people who, but why they so? Why they don't change? Why they don't? That's judgment. That is whatever it is, And I using the definition that you use, that being understanding and knowing where you are, what is going on around you, so that you don't have to be reactive and overwhelmed by stuff. I know where I am. It's chaos around me, is whatever it is, but I know where I am, and I am ready to deal with it, but I don't have to jump up and be overly reactive. And sometimes we see people living in the most, in our opinion, dire circumstances because they're not living like us. Or we look at other people and we wish we could live like them. And we want what they have, again, being focused on other outer circumstances. There was an interview, again, in preparation for our budget, and they were talking to a vendor, a young woman, and they were talking about, what do you think the minimum wage should be and stuff like that? And she just watched the report of it. I'm a vendor. I had to make my dollars here, and what I make today, I make do with it. I decide what I could buy for my children and what I can't buy for my children. And if I don't make enough money, then we do it out until I see what I do tomorrow. I think that is the essence of mindfulness. She's not going to let the world or the world's expectations turn her inside out. She understands her purpose. She is a vendor. She has to do what she has to do today to make money to take care of her children. She's doing her best. She probably putting the fundamentals in place for their care, their self-care. And she is aware of who she's a very mindful person. And whether they do or they don't do, until her circumstances allow her to move on to something she wants to do, not what somebody thinks she should do, that is a resilient woman. And that mindfulness, I think it is really understanding where you are and not being influenced and judged by others. And if I am mindful and this is where I am and this is where I choose to be today now, and this is in keeping with my self-care, self-awareness, the relationships I have and so on, then I am okay today. I'm resilient. I will survive to tomorrow. I won't be stretched out of shape and twist up and turn up. And I'm okay. Now, you mightn't be okay with it, but if I'm not bothering you or hindering you or doing something illegal or immoral that's affecting you, then leave me alone. I am resilient for my purpose.
Yeah.
It is really something else. When we think about the word resilience and all that goes into it, We really need to understand it. And I think going on to the next stage, and for a lot of us, Jennifer, I think because we don't think of our now and of our, not even the future of our now, if we keep looking backwards to where we were, stretching yourself out of shape for your context.
Listen to me. It's quite interesting, growing older, things change. And it's just on a lighter note. So, a very good friend of mine, her complaint is always her size, right? She wants this, she looks good, wasn't big, but always wanted to be this size 8 because she find when a size 8, eventually she never reached a size 8. She was about a 12. And now we reached this age, right? She complained all the time, saying, oh gosh, I wish I could have. At this age, some families, some of us shrink no matter what when we get older. So recently I saw her and she showed me a dress. She's so good, look at my arms and thing. Oh good, people will feel I have this, that, that. I said, well, now you're size 8. She had to laugh. And she said, look at that, girl. All the time I want to be a size 8. Now I'm reaching that, I don't want to be that again. So you say, looking back, I just remember that. But that's recently happened. And I had to laugh. And I say, we really have to be careful and just be happy with our lives as we go along.
You know what I think, and as we close the discussion, I think of the things that the kind of persons I like to be around and that make me really happy. And it is really the definition of a resilient person. You see somebody who is calm, at peace with themselves, whatever they are, not trying to fix and change and shove and probe and critiquing themselves. And this is where I am, how I am today.
And be happy for where
and
we are today.
Truly happy with how they are. And there's no but in the question. Yes, I got a but. Yes, I got a but. It's how you are today, whether you have glaucoma, diabetes, hypertension.
Whatever. We try our best to be happy with the life that we have.
You are where
and you could make it better,
today.
Tarian. We could make our lives much better.
I'm not even going there, Jennifer. Just be happy today with where you are. Thank God. Know that you can do better, but sometimes just telling somebody, you could do better, immediately puts them into, all right, I have to do better because where I am is not good enough.
Well, they have to. The thing is, again, you go back to awareness. If you are happy with where you are, great. If you're not, then you have to look at what else you have to do. But again, it's an individual thing. In closing, what I would like to just say, and I just wrote this, and it's an aspect of resilience too, is for us to be able to remain flexible and adaptable while facing life challenges, to just sum it up. And that's about it. And really and truly being resilient in a changing world is what that is what it is, or what we have to be.
Yeah. I would say for celebrating the International Day of Older People, take 15 minutes and just bask in your resilience of being happy with where you are right now, no matter what the circumstances.
Yeah.
And we hope that you would have gotten some nuggets today to help you at least reflect and enjoy life, because the only permanent thing is change. And rubber band has to go back to something. So be self-aware, be mindful, take care of yourself, have positive relationships, and don't forget your purpose, because if you forget that, you'll go off your track. Great?
Yeah.
Okay, so see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye. Hi, tribe. Did you ever think of doing your autobiography? It's not as complicated as you think. So join 5.8G as we, together with Dr. Lynette Tyson Noel, certified guided autobiographer, as we journey into the world of writing our stories. Scribe with the Tribe is a three-part series that lets us write our stories, and there are so many reasons to do this. Jennifer, what do you think?
It's a great idea, and I'm all excited to do my autobiography. That's because, it's a way for me to document my life story and leave a legacy for my loved ones. It will also help, those who see me as a mentor to learn more about me and to get some golden nuggets. I see it too as a way to motivate our 5.8G tribe to celebrate their greatness, to start to document their life story and really have that legacy for their loved ones.
Great. And I also think that our cohort, we have done so much with such great impact, like no other generation has before. Time has flown so fast that we've hardly had any time to look back, to admire, or even to understand all that we have achieved for ourselves and our loved ones. I call that our greatness. So I am taking the opportunity through this series to tell my greatness story. It will be a wonderful gift to myself. The opportunity to document my life's journey in my own words, and then I choose to share it with whom I choose. I think that's a great thing. So, Jennifer, tell us more about the series.
Okay, our three-part series will be held on Tuesday the 8th and Tuesday the 15th of October. And our final session will be on Monday the 21st of October. Now it's from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. on Zoom platform. So register now. Call me, Jennifer, at 685-8834. And of course, Terry-Ann also at
682-9202. And check out all of our social media platforms and our 5.8 GLI show. So we look forward to seeing you. Call us.
Yes, Scribe with the Tribe.
50 Plus Tribe and follow us from Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Thank you for joining us on this Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive show.
We hope you enjoyed the lively conversation and look forward to seeing you next week.
Don't forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We really love getting your feedback. Bye for now.